Welcome, podcast fans. It's time for the What's Up Bro podcast show presented by J&J Production Studios, the home for all your entertainment needs. All kinds of great topics discussed every week, a variety of different themes offered, special guest appearances, prize giveaways, and so much more. Stay tuned. And now, here are your hosts, Sam Crow and Big Hoss.
Well, hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special edition episode, brand new episode of the show. It is indeed I, Sam Crow, along with Big Hoss. How are you, Big Hoss?
What's up? Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. We'll give you a little backstory here, and then we're going to give some just light announcements, and then we're going to get into it.
I have a question for you, Sam Crow.
Uh-huh.
Where were you when September 11th hit?
Oh, let's get to that in just a second. Hold that thought. I want to preface so people know why we have this episode going. We're going to answer that because I'm going to ask you the same question. So we'll get to that in a second. Let's just announce that, which brings up the point why we are doing this episode tonight. Actually, there's two reasons. First of all, we are planning. This is probably going to be in place of No Show Saturday. We were actually going to have Big Hoss and I were prepped to record this episode for Saturday, but then it dawned on me since it is 9/11 and we missed out on Labor Day, so we're not going to miss out on this. This is very important. So tonight is a special 9/11 edition. We remember, we will never forget. We want to salute those that lost their lives there on that tragic day. So that's a bonus why we are having this tonight, why we're live, and what we're going to talk about, which we'll get to that in a second there. Just quickly, some announcements there that we want to share. And remember, if you guys didn't see it, check out the latest episode this past weekend. We had special guest the Cellar Dwellers on, and it was great. It was awesome. Check out that episode. It's available now. Linktree.com/J_J Production Studios. You can find it across all streaming platforms where you can get your favorite podcast shows. It's available. We had a huge turnout, massive turnout, a lot of great numbers. A lot of people listened to that too. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We love you all for that. It was awesome. Can't wait to have them back. We're going to play we have their song we're going to play. Some other tracks we're going to play as well. We have some special tracks we're going to play during the break tonight in honor of today, too, which we always do. Reminder also, we have rescheduled. We're going to have, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to get Verka Parkova on with us, the MMA fighter and Kung Fu and academic coach. We rescheduled that. Hopefully she'll be free and available. We're going to get her on. And starting next month, begins October, we begin our Halloween festival coming up there, episodes there. Our seasonal theme shows, which you guys know we look forward to every year. That's coming up along with Thanksgiving in November and Christmas in December, leading into a brand new year come January.
And Haas's birthday bash.
That's right. We have a special. You guys know we did Sam Crow's birthday bash. This is going to be a lunar eclipse because both of our birthdays actually fall on a weekend. So this has been a monumental year. So let's give it up. We had Sam Crow's birthday bash. Stay tuned for November. Big Hoss's birthday bash. Yeah! We're going to hang out, party that night, as long as, of course, you're not busy, occupied, and your family doesn't do anything. But we're going to assume that you're going to be free at this point, so we're planning for it. Yeah. We hope you guys will tune in as well. Join us. It's going to be awesome, going to be amazing, and, of course, it's always a good time. So, with that being said, and Big Hoss posed that question, I'm going to throw this out there. I'll go first. I was going to answer that question, too. So, where was I? So, September 11th, 2001. My gosh, where am I at here? Let's see if I can pull up on the calendar here. I don't think I can. Can I do that? I might be able to do that. Let me see if I can just do that. I'll answer that question then. 1 second. 2020. No, I want the year. How far back can we? Nope, that's too far up. Ooh, we can't pull it up. All right, let's see. So September 11th. That was a Tuesday, actually. Wow. No, it was Wednesday. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it's a Tuesday. That's all right. Calendar shows me different days. Yeah. So, where was I? I was home. I had just turned 12, actually, that summer. And I won't forget it because my mom used to give piano lessons, and on that day, she was giving lessons, and usually what we did was we would play with some of the other siblings who weren't taking their lessons yet. Usually they rotated out. And I remember, actually, we were there, and my dad called, actually, because he was at work, and he said, you need to put the TV on. You need to see what's going on. And so my mom stopped the lesson, and we turned the TV on, and we watched I think it was just after the first tower was struck, if my memory serves correctly. That, or it was when the second one just hit. I'm not sure. It's a little fuzzy now after 23 years. But I remember that vividly. I remember like it was yesterday. Where were you? What were you doing when it happened? Do you remember?
I was in school.
Were you?
They stopped everything and they made us sit there and watch the TV,
Mm-hmm.
the news,
Yeah.
and they sent us home shortly after that.
Yeah, it was. I said this. I've been saying this, and this is where a lot of you guys, if you're older listeners, you know too. But this is sort of our generation's view on Pearl Harbor, if you will, when Japan attacked the United States, which launched us in the campaign in the Pacific during World War II. Moments like that, you don't really forget that. It's so impactful on you. Now, obviously, and we pay a huge tribute. There's so many people that were lost that day. And I remember the emotions I felt, sadness, anger, all that sort of thing. It was a deliberate planned attack on the U.S., which we responded in, of course, it led us into warfare, which, I'm not a huge fan of that, but sometimes it's unavoidable. It has to happen, and there had to be a response to that. When you do something that devastating here, it warrants sanctions and actions for that. But when you think about it, nothing really had ever happened like that before in the history of our country here. For that, we had Pearl Harbor happened. There's a lot of other mild things that went on, but this was something different. This was, and if you think about it, it was such a targeted attack on innocents too, because it was on the World Trade Center, which was just a government it's a building. People worked there. It wasn't like it was a military. I mean, the attack on the Pentagon was there too, so I think it was kind of a strategic. It kind of hit all the way around. But we never seen anything like it before. It never happened. And I don't think, and hopefully, and I'm not saying it, hopefully we never see anything like it again, but nothing to the magnitude of what it was that day, which I think was, uber special. And why not special in regards of it's how do I say special? It's monumental. I meant to say monumental. It's so monumental that it doesn't compare to anything else. It's also been a long day and I'm tired, so forgive me too. But, when you have those moments, and again, I'm not underselling any of the other big moments too. They're just so memorable because, 23 years later, here we are. Hard to believe that time really flew by that fast. And I mean, I'm actually going to see if I can pull up some information about it too, because I haven't read anything for a while there. But I want to get some accurate numbers here too, just because it's been a minute. So, let's see. There we go. Perfect. Everybody's probably searching this today. Let's see how many people we lost that day. So, let's see. The official death toll after numerous. So 2,977 people. 2,753 people died, of whom 343 were firefighters. The death toll at the Pentagon near Washington, D.C. was 184, and 40 individuals died outside Shanksville, Pennsylvania. So there you go. And, it might not seem like genocidal numbers where, it's headline breaking and it warrants all this. It's like, it's the shock of, and I know for me, and I'm sure for a lot of us, it was just the shock of actually just witnessing it and seeing it happen. So, and there were a lot of people, I know some folks that actually witnessed it and watched as it, I mean, again, the footage was there, but imagine what it was like being in New York City. I mean, just to actually, be there and see, the towers coming down and, the terror and the fear of, the unknown, and it's, the whole thing, it just happened so fast that I don't think a lot of people ever had time to react. They were numb, but it definitely, it leaves such a lasting impression. And again, we won't ever forget that, which is why we do moments like this where we want to pay tribute to that, just like anybody else. We want everybody to know. And if you're listening, and if you've known people, if you've had family there, we are here to support you. We love all of you too for that. We're feeling that as well. We just want to make sure you guys know that we support you as much as possible there too. And I never had any personal. I knew some people who knew people that were out there, but I never had direct contact specifically. So we do respect every single one of you too, which we want you guys to know we support that as well. What are you doing? You're making me seasick here. What are you doing? What is that?
You're on my cart. I'm just moving the cart up and down.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. Um, but yeah. So
Earthquake!
yeah, you you have too much time there. We're gonna make a point for that there too. But yeah. So
I got much time.
yeah, I was gonna say, or too much energy, or both. I don't know. One of those three. Um, So yeah, but there, and it's interesting when, I never really gave it much thought until people started talking about it. Not that I forgot about it, but life's just been busy and things have been moving in the fast lane a lot. So, you know, uh, and seeing like and reflecting now, and I actually know I saw videos recently again of people posting about the that day, and just even reliving that for those moments. You know, it was such a blast from the past, and going back to that where you kind of, I don't know, it almost felt like it reliving it again for the first time, like it was at the beginning, but it just, again, it just leaves that lasting impression for that. And I'm glad, because not that we would ever forget something like that, nor could we or should we, but it really is, it just shows how much it really made an impact there. And we, I still can't fathom it. Like, it's still one of those things where, you know, it, you just gotta wonder, why do people do that? How, what leads people to do certain things there? And the answers really don't get any easier. But mankind in the world is just inherently evil there. So when we see these kind of things, and it hasn't changed, honestly. Let's be real about this. It hasn't really changed much since that. Here we are 23 years later. We see the craziness going on in the world. Obviously, right after 9/11, we had 8 years of warfare in Afghanistan and Iraq. There were things happening. I mean, I don't want to say that was the pure cause of it, but like, things really go downhill from there, And so, in looking at that, and you reflect upon that, it's really, it's just, it's mind boggling if you really take time to think about it, which we hope you do. So, it's a life changing thing, kind of like what COVID was a few years ago. Obviously in different contexts, but it truly leaves a lasting impression there. And things that are still fresh, and just, yeah, it's a lot to take in there. Now, I'm assuming are you still sitting there? Because all I see is your cart there.
I'm still sitting.
So come on the camera and come closer so I can hear you. So tell us, like, do you know anybody, or do you remember talking to people, like, what after everything happened? Like, give us some details here. Like, what was it like? Like, what was it like from family too? Like, after the dust kind of settled a little bit after the day went on that day. What do you remember, like, going forward with that? Especially, obviously, leaving school for the day, but like, what are some things you recall, like, just in the aftermath of everything, after the initial, when things were happening? Waiting on bated breath here.
So, I'm trying to think.
That's fine. I know it's a lot. I gotta go back a little bit.
I think we just kind of were in disbelief, mostly.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe what was going on.
Yep.
I remember my mom was pretty upset. Everybody was upset.
Right. Yeah.
Like, how could this happen?
Yeah. The last thing we'd
But
expect to happen. Yeah.
all I remember is getting sent home from school, being like, "We're canceling school," and school was canceled for about a week.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It was such a disbelief is actually the great word for that. That's really, I think, a lot of us probably were, and shocked. Shocked is another good one too. Like, you just couldn't, imagine. Now, I am sort of an average, and I'm not saying to do this to cause controversy on this, because obviously we're remembering today, but the controversy as far as a conspiracy for that too is it's almost like it was during Pearl Harbor, where there's information that suggests that there was reports that this was going to happen that weren't followed through, there wasn't investigated with. So now whether or not that's entirely true, and there has been and probably will forever be stories that are circulating all throughout the remainder of our lives and whatever happens down the road when this is remembered. But the bottom line of it is, and here's the thing too, it's kind of like with the whole COVID thing, and when we had COVID, breaking out and people were giving feedback and thoughts and conspiracy and contradictions and things like that. Simply put, the bottom line is it happened and there's no going back from it. The question really was,
Sergio,
Yeah.
where were you when 9/11 happened?
23 years ago to be specific.
Wow. So I was very, very little. I was at my grandfather's house, and I remember my mom was about to leave to work, and I was going to my grandparents' house because my mom was going to drop me off there while she goes to work in the morning. And she gets there. My grandparents already had the TV turned on, and it was already happening. It had already happened.
Wow.
Because the time difference from New Mexico to New York. But I remember just confusion. I was like, why? And then afterwards, just stayed there the whole day, watching the TV. And after that, I noticed for myself and my growing upbringing is that it became very slow. Definitely had a lot of impact because it was the first thing in the 21st century, and the connection that we had at the time, like global TV networks and stuff like that, really just enhanced the globalization of the aftermath of it.
Sure.
And made it just a whole different lifestyle of growing up in America.
Yeah, no.
Because growing up, for me, I was like, damn, me not realizing the prejudice that would come afterwards, I was like very much confused with that too. I was like, wow, why is there so much hatred for all these other humans when in the reality we're all the same?
Yeah, and again, there's so many. Even all these years later, we think about this, and it's funny how a lot of us probably, and there was probably so many of us that were super young that don't remember or were little. I know a lot of people now that probably weren't even born yet, but the impact is really real, and it just goes to show how much it does impact our lives there, and it changes everything. It's just, and again, it's so incredible how events tragic as that was leaves that impression there. And again, it's one of those, we don't want it to happen, but I think questions still remain too. It's always causes for pause for reflection. There's always thought about it. There's always gonna be thought about it. I'm sure people are going to talk this out, analyze it, and there's going to be just all these sort of things just happening that I don't know if we'll ever know for sure. There might be, it's going to be hotly debated for a long time to come. So, but it's just important that moments like these, and I feel like I have hold on, excuse me. Moments like these that change us, hopefully for the better. Now that's the big thing that came out of this whole event is we want to come out, and we did come out stronger than before. It's a devastating thing. It was something that we did not want to have happen. But the question then remained was, what do we do moving forward, and how do we pick up the pieces, and how do we continue on? I mean, one of the things I remember too, which I only bring this up as an example just to show the tenacity that we have as us as a nation there, is when you when the time it happened, it was right. I never forget. It was right around the time when the 2001 the NFL season was about to kick off. Matter of fact, it was going to kick off that Sunday, actually, right after 9/11 happened. And there was a huge debate of, do we even, a lot of teams were, do we even play? How do we, there's no protocol for this. What do we do? And the answer was, which I agree too, especially up in New York, because a lot of the New York teams were there too. Like, what do we do? And, most people were, I'm sure there's probably confliction, but they ended up playing and said that there's no better way to attribute this and help Americans get back to try to have some level of normalcy than with kicking off the season, trying to get some of life back, some kind of normality there that we were losing there. Try to keep things back to what we had, but it's difficult. And the more time goes on, and the more that we reflect, and the more that we think about it, talk about it, and even I think about this too, which makes me sound really old, but think about the generations that are coming after us that weren't there. Like I said, too little or hadn't been born yet. And I really appreciate like what my grandparents and my family went through that I wasn't around. Like, these are events, like, how do you explain this to people? There's really no way to put into words what all of this means, but we try because we want to do that, and we want people to understand the atrocity of it. We want people to know, how devastating and, just everything that went with it. So I think those are key features too. But, the ultimate thing was we rose above it and trying to move forward and trying to make a difference, which is super critical and super important. But we won't forget, and we're going to do this because we don't ever want to forget. So, and then speaking of that here, let's take a little break. We're going to pause for a commercial. We got some special music we're going to play and have for you guys. We're going to come back, obviously, for more there. But we are here to honor, remember, reflect, and especially never forget the events of the September 11th attacks in 2001. Our prayers are still with family that lost loved ones there. They are always in our hearts and our minds. We never forget that. And even though it's been so many years later, it doesn't make the pain any better. It's hard because, especially those that lost siblings and spouses and even children, it's difficult. So we hope that it's a little comfort, but we want to honor those folks today as much as we possibly can. We're here for each and every one of you. So we'll be right back for more. Stay tuned. I'm going to end this here for Big Hoss so we can reset it. So you can take a break, what you need to do. We're going to come back. I will hit you a message in just a second. We got plenty more here at the What's Up Bro podcast show here. Special edition, 9/11 Remembrance Day. Again, we appreciate you guys if you're here paying tribute and honoring with us. We love that. We love all of you. Again, it's not always the most favorite thing to talk about and do, but we want to remember because it's that important. So we're going to play some stuff here for you guys, and then we'll come back shortly for more. Stay tuned. Don't go away. As we remember, and most importantly, we never forget. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go away. Plenty more talk to come when we come back right after this.
Hey, audio fans. Are you looking for fun and excitement? Have you been searching for that special show? You know, the one complete package you want in a podcast? Then check out the What's Up Bro podcast show and experience what true entertainment is all about. Stay tuned and don't miss the action. Available on your favorite streaming services, including YouTube. Thank you for all your support. And as always, we'll see you at the show.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
Hey there, do you love podcasts? Are you having difficulty finding the right ones to listen to? Is it frustrating when you're trying to pick that show? You know, the one where everyone must collectively agree on? Like finding a good movie or TV show to watch, do you look for the most jam-packed entertainment that's possible to find in a single episode every week? Then search no more, and welcome to J&J Production Studios. It's our business to provide the best entertainment and information available for you. Whether you're sitting in that comfy chair with your favorite snack and beverage listening live each week, or downloading your favorite show episodes to take with you on the go while you're at work, exercising, or even just to play at night for you to fall asleep to. There's something for everyone, no matter what size, shape, or age you are. Visit www.linktree.com/J_J Production Studios to find all the streaming services where our podcast shows can be found. You can also connect with us on your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. You can join our public Discord server and chat directly with us. But wait, there's more. You can subscribe to our official YouTube channel and be notified every time a new show is broadcast. Wish you could have some studio souvenirs or collectibles? Guess what? You can. Visit the official store where you can purchase items featuring your favorite podcast and show hosts. Would you like to help support us? You can do that by getting your very own exclusive membership on our Patreon account. All proceeds go to help us upgrade our shows, which will only enhance the entertainment provided to you. Thank you so much. We're excited to have you as an audience. Your love and support are always appreciated. We'll see you soon.
Break time is over. We're so glad you stayed tuned. Now back to the action as the show is set to resume.
guys, thanks so much for hanging out there. I have to say, I love tracks like that. They're very inspirational there. I thought it was very fitting and very, just so appropriate for that too. I don't know. It gets you in that reflective mood. That's the word we're looking for. And, it's it's hard to put into context for that. You know what I mean? Again, we all know what this day means, and we all know, the significance of it, and the heaviness, and just the overall importance of it too. But, it really it sparks a lot of emotion. That's what we're looking for there, and I think that's another key contributor. I'm going to ask Big Hoss as he comes back in here. He's getting in. Here he comes. Hang on a sec. We're getting him situated.
The day that nightlife is pretty lively.
There we go.
Because that's when people like to come out.
But it's I mean, so last time.
And we also got to remember the ones that are still here from. Were at 9/11.
Yeah, that's what we're talking. A lot of this is for them, for the families, and we're trying to honor those that whether you lost.
Present ones that are still here after that.
Oh yeah, well that's what we're doing. We're honoring them too. But this is to remember whether it was a spouse they lost, or a father, a mother, brother, sister. We're trying to we want to continue to heal together. That's why even after all this time, it's still just devastating for those that are still here, because it doesn't change the fact that you lost somebody. And that's what we were just saying before you came back to break. Like, the emotions of it, what do you think? Like the roller coaster, right? The roller coaster of emotions is just it just changes all the time. And, think about it. So let's think about this for a second there. What if, let's say, we'll talk about trying to get in the mind context of those that are still here. And again, we're trying to make sense of it too, because it's difficult. We've suffered, like I said, I lost a good friend this year. Big Hoss has been dealing with some stuff. Any word on your friend, by the way, incidentally?
No.
Yeah. So but in those moments, now obviously it wasn't in tragedies like losing someone in the trade towers or someone at the Pentagon or in Pennsylvania there when the plane went down. It's a much more devastating notion, but how do you process that after all of this time? Does it get easier? Obviously the memories are always there. It doesn't make the fact that how they went change anything, but do you bounce back from it? Is there what kind of scarring effect? Because it has to, excuse me, it has to leave some kind of impact like that. But I don't know. And those are the things we can only guess at. We don't know for sure. But it's got to be hard even after all this time. And they say time heals all wounds, which I believe is true. But something that is so monumental and so impactful, like what happened on 9/11, I just feel like it's not quick or easy bouncing back from, just because of the level of it. And the worst part of it too, think about it, is what if it's somebody who's still here that maybe you're a mother who lost a husband and a son that day. Maybe you lost multiple people. That makes things even worse. It's all these thoughts that are continuously running through our minds that, I don't know if we'll ever fully appreciate or understand, but we're trying to. We really are. And we're not saying or doing any of these things to offend people or, to put a negative on it. We're just, we're trying our best to let obviously we love and support all of you guys, that are still here there. Maybe, and here's the other factor too, maybe you were there. Were you even there and are a survivor there, which is a miracle in of itself. I know some folks, I've heard stories that they were...
That's what I'm talking about. We got to remember the survivors.
Yeah, I think you meant the people that were not even close.
No,
yeah,
the survivors.
Yeah, no, that's... Think about let's talk about that, because we talked about the effects like mental health too, And just like the war heroes, do you imagine the PTSD effects of being there, remembering? I'm sure that's something you never forget. You probably relive that day all the time, I would guess. Now maybe over time it gets better, I don't know, but that's got to be torture. It's got to be. Think about it. Like, even if maybe you're the firefighter or a policeman on the ground, like witnessing, like walking through the dust and debris, and like just trying to. I can't even put words into it. Like, we can only imagine. And again, we're not doing this to make light of it too. We're doing this because we really want to. We really want to empathize with you guys. So that's simply what we're working on doing. We are just trying to put ourselves there to understand, because it's super, super important. It's something that really, we take time out to do that. That's why we honor that for today too. But, it's affects so many people. Like, I think, I don't think we fully realize how impactful it really is until we revisit this. And it's nice though, because we see that people do take this seriously. People don't just write it off. People don't underplay it, undersell it. We don't want to do that. We don't want to cause anything where we don't. It's the same thing with veterans too that serves in our nation for that too. Everybody is important there. We want to make sure everybody gets their due respect for that. And again, you really have to put yourself in somebody else's shoes there. You have to know what people are going through. We have to take these moments. It's important. Like, there's so many things. We talk about all the hardships and things going on in the world, and all the craziness of life, and how our economy is bad, and the world is all this and that. But sometimes you have to take a step back and say, you know what? This is the moment when we need to put everything else on hold. We need to really just focus on these moments that need to be remembered and shared, because it really it's super, super important. Again, we can't understate that enough. It's really important. And I feel like, just like Big Hoss, you're saying there too, like, even the survivors, and again, I don't think it's intentional, but they don't get enough attention for that. If anything, they might get lost in the shuffle, so we don't want that to be the case. It's, and again, I don't think it's always on purpose. I never believe people are that malicious or vindictive, or purposely going out of their way saying, "Oh, I don't care." I just think a lot of us we're just so focused on so many things that it's easy enough to let things slip under the cracks. But make sure you guys take that time. We're always going to take it this day every year, and I think that's critical. We've been doing it now 23 years. We'll do it next year, and all the years after that. We want this to be something that people always remember there. I mean, think about it. We still honor Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was what? 83 years ago now? Yeah. Still talked about. So just the point of how much of an impact and impression it leaves, that's the idea. So 9/11 is no different. And, I'm sure for those that were there, those that experienced it, whether they were there personally, whether they knew family that was there, I actually, it's funny, I saw this recently. I don't know if it was a video that was posted, but you're gonna make people seasick. Let's not do that, okay? You're making me sick. Cut it out. You're familiar with, who Seth MacFarlane is, right?
Yeah.
Creator of Family Guy and does all films.
Yeah.
He was on. I think it was a recent interview, or it might have been from a few years ago. Maybe it was a flash. I didn't look at the date from it, but they were talking about. Ironically, actually, he was actually supposed to be on one of the planes that went into the towers in New York that day. He had said he was. I don't know. I forget where he was coming from, but because he actually overslept, he missed the flight. They wouldn't let him on the flight. That was, I think, the first plane, or it might have been the second plane that hit. So he would have been on there, and I'm like, wow. And I know it's a celebrity type, but I'm just illustrating, like, imagine people that were supposed to be on those flights that didn't make it, were late, maybe they got their ticket bumped, their seat bumped, whatever reason.
You got too drunk watching Monday Night Football.
That was the other part. Yeah, that was the other part. He's like, that's so. But it's those funny little coincidences where you see how life-changing that really is, and you don't appreciate that till later on after the fact. So, I mean, there's just so many pieces in the puzzle and the tapestry that's really, all these things just sort of bubble up and come up from the ground when you think about it and break it down. But it's I don't know, like, and I mean, again, I can't say I have much personal invest because I knew some people that knew a few people that were there, but I didn't know anybody directly who was there. I didn't have anybody there. I mean, so it's not like, I'm just as invested though as any average American, of course, but it's when you break it down like that and really think about it, especially again after all this time, and you see the feelings that are still there, the emotions that are still, even after 23 years today, 23 years, like, and again, I can still remember it like it was yesterday, and I probably will until I eventually maybe one day have memory loss and don't remember my own name. But it's some of those things, you just don't forget, you can't, so yeah, it affects all of us, again, in different ways, but we are forever changed from that. But just like the COVID pandemic there, we try to bounce back. We want to put things back in order. We want to move forward. We don't want to be crippled or held down by something. And I think that's a true testament of the United States here in America, that despite the devastation, despite the problems and the unfortunate turnaround out of things and all these things that go on, we are such a strong unit that we bounce back from this, that we can, I don't want to say we can achieve anything. I think we can if we work together, but it's just the example of how we really shine when we come together. And why I say that for a point for it is our country has been at odds. We're still going to be at odds. Obviously, we could throw the election in there. It's coming up in a couple months. All these things. There's so much diversity and there's so much tension for a lot of different reasons. But the point of it is we really need to be unified, come together. We could really cover and fix a lot of things, and I think life would be much happier and a lot better for a lot of people if we could. And again, we don't all have to agree on that. That's not the point. We're not all going to agree on everything, but there has to be a level of compromise that I just feel like people are just not willing to do anymore, sadly. And if you're not willing to do that, then nothing good's going to happen, right? So I think I can say, and I don't know, how do you feel there, Big Hoss? Do you feel like that's a same thing? Like,
Yeah.
We need more unity. We need to be, we got to put differences aside. Again, everybody has the right to their own opinion. That's what makes the country unique. We all have different feelings, different thoughts. And this is what's so wonderful about this day. And despite all the sadness and the negativity is, at least on days like this, when we have such a tragic event, everybody puts their differences aside to come together to remember what happened on this day 23 years ago. So and then the essence, there's some good that comes out of it. Even out of the burning ashes, there's some life that still can come out of it. But it's tough. But again, we need to do that so much often, not just when tragedies occur. We need to do that on a regular, consistent basis. So I think that's something we should strive for. And if you're a younger person listening too, I know it's probably been told to you in school and from family, but your one voice can make a difference. Don't be afraid to speak up. We talk about bullying and stuff, but that's been a huge thing. We talk about all these effects. Don't be afraid to speak out. Let your voice be heard there. Don't, obviously, no, you have to understand, not everybody's going to agree with you, but just because they don't doesn't mean you don't have the right to share your views and thoughts and opinions. So the more of us that stay silent, it can be damaging just as much. So, and we know this. Big Hoss is one of those. He's opinionated all the time. So, we get all the hate mail comes for him, which I don't tell him about. I keep a bin for that. But no, I'm kidding. So
Wait, I got hate mail?
No, most of it's just like scams. Like if you want to buy credit cards or get your application. It's a no.
I was gonna say, who's hating on me?
I'm just kidding. No, I'm teasing. No, the point is that some of us we like to share. We're gonna hear blowback from it, but You just have to get past that and be confident in yourself enough to share your views. And then the question also becomes, depending on what you're talking about, how much do you fight for it? How much do you push? And just knowing when to concede, when to say, okay, I got my point across, that's fine, and we can agree to disagree, and etc. But all as long as there's, and it's the same thing I said too. Like again, just to mention this, we're not going to get too heavily because we're almost to the end of our night anyway. But even the world of politics for that one, if we could just have the debate was last night, which I didn't watch it, but I heard a lot about it. Even if we could just have moments where we could have a spirited discussion back and forth without any personal attacks, without any, downright and dirty dog fighting kind of thing, or fighting with the fisticuffs with the gloves off, just to get opinions out, just to try to communicate with one another, to try and understand the viewpoints where that person or persons are coming from, to better have a knowledge of grasping that sense of understanding. That's critical. And if we did that in a lot of things, not just political realm, but a lot of different things, again, we could feature and function so much better. So it's just some food for thought there, at least for me. And I do think about it a lot. I'm sure a lot of you probably...
I'm going to do my sign-off now.
Okay, well, let's do that. Give me 1 second here. Let's finish the thought here. We can do that. Actually, we probably should end a little early tonight anyway. But, so keep that in mind, you guys. Think about it and reflect on it. And, again, use days like this as an example for that. So, let's remind everybody quickly, too. A couple announcements. We're going to just at the end anyway. So, we will be back on Friday night. We will have a show. There will be no show Saturday. This is going to be in lieu of that. We were going to record it, but since it's today. And then Big Hoss is not here. Is it Friday and Saturday next week? Because you're on vacation, right?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right, but I mean the whole weekend when
Sunday.
we would be on. Okay.
Yeah.
So Big Hoss is off for vacation, so we might do one show at least that weekend. We're going to see what happens. But then the following weekend we'll be back. We'll have that there. Let me know. I don't know if you're interested about tomorrow night, if you're free. Just hit me up tomorrow. Let me know. What's that? Yeah, that's fine. Let me know tomorrow. I'll let Deanie know, but just in case you're interested. New Pod Squad episode should be out tomorrow night for that for sure. Bonus episodes, pre-recorded coming out too. Stay tuned for that as well. So, Big Hoss, we're going to change our sign-up just a little bit, because obviously it's a weeknight too, but before you give some folks their final thought, and again, remind everybody the importance for today. What's the one thought you want people to take away from remembering 9/11 today? Go ahead.
Hold on.
All right, hold on. He's repositioning. Wait a minute. Whoa, I'm getting seasick.
Shut up.
That's a really bad shot. Okay, there we go.
Shut up. Okay, so, no, but if you're going to drink, don't drive.
Right. But what's important now, remember to stay today? What's one thing, or at least one thing you want people to take from the 9/11 experience to remember or think about? Like, give them something to ponder. Like, what's important? What's the most important thing, though, for today that we can take? I think, actually, especially you said it yourself. We remember, but who should we remember specifically, too? Not forget about
Those that were there.
Right, the survivors there. We forget that. So that's Big Hoss's message. Make sure you guys don't forget that. So, Big Hoss, though, tell the folks good night. We'll see him Friday night. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You got to tell him. I'm not going to tell him. You tell him.
If you're going to drink, don't drive.
You did that. No, good night and see you Friday, guys. Come on.
Good night, everybody. See you Friday.
All right, there you go. Perfect. All right, I'll be in touch. Let me know tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. We might see Big Hoss on the Pod Squad. We'll keep you posted later. And you guys, too, for me, of course, as always, for all of us here, we appreciate the support. We love you guys very much. We are very honored and privileged to do episodes like this, and we do this in remembrance of what this day represents. The folks that lost their lives, the folks that were left behind at home, the folks that were there that did survive. This day is for all of you, so please, very important, remember it. And if you see people or know people like that, tell them how much you appreciate the sacrifices there. Tell them that you're thinking about them, praying for them, all those great things. But we think it's very important. We want to make sure we don't ever forget what this day represents. So I'm Sam Crow, of course, as always. Big Hoss and I will be back Friday night. Catch the Pod Squad tomorrow night. And then no show Saturday. This is in lieu of that. But as previously mentioned just a bit ago, a couple surprise episodes coming up that were pre-recorded ahead of time. Keep your eyes and ears open. They will be popping up soon. So plenty of entertainment to get you through the weekend. And then we'll keep you guys posted for more. Again, make sure you check us out. Linktree.com/J_J Production Studios. Your one true home for entertainment. And of course, as always, guys, we love and appreciate all of the support. Happy Remembrance Day. It's not a day that we want to ever forget. Celebrate, live, cry, remember together. But most importantly, we all say here too, we don't ever and we will never forget. Remembering and honoring those that we loved and lost. September 11th, 2001, 23 years ago today, a day which will forever live in infamy. For all of us here at J&J Production Studios, you guys, we'll see you next time. Good night. Have a great rest of your week. Goodbye for now. And of course, and as always, until next time, when we see you at the show.
Thank you for listening to the What's Up Bro show. Catch all the latest live action on your favorite podcast streaming services, including Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. You can also check out episodes on the studio's official YouTube channel. Subscribe and become a member today. Don't forget to also turn on notifications so you'll know when new content is uploaded. Stay tuned and don't miss a single moment. We love and appreciate all your support. And as always, we will see you at the show.